Hello, friends. This is your final semester, and in this, we are dealing with plant biochemistry. Unit first is carbohydrates. I am Dr. Sunil Sangle. Little bit explain about carbohydrates. So, what is the carbohydrates? We are eating many things in our daily diet. 60 to 70%, or sometimes up to 80%, we are daily use carbohydrates. We consume carbohydrates. There are so much example like wheat, rice, biryani, roti, chapati, or etc. are nothing but the source of carbohydrates. Can you live without sugar? Soda, cookies, candy, chocolate, desserts, sugary cereals, ice creams. These are our favorite and we can't live without it, right? The carbohydrates gives the body energy. They are the best source of fuel for the body. Carbohydrates also help to digest protein and fat. Carbohydrates are 45 to 65% of our food should come from carbohydrates. If we eat more carbohydrates than are needed for energy, the extra is stored in the liver or in the tissues as a fat. याचाच अर्थ काय होतो की जे काही जाडे लोक आहेत ज्यांचं वजन जास्त आहे याचा अर्थ त्यांनी कार्बोहायड्रेट्स कमी खाल्ले पाहिजे कारण त्यांनी ऑलरेडी खूप कंझ्युम केलेत आणि त्याचा पुरावा ते दिसत आहे म्हणून बेटर डाएट प्लॅनमध्ये कार्बोहायड्रेट्स कमी खायचे सांगितले जातात आणि प्रोटीन जास्त खायचे सांगितले जातात ओके कार्बोहायड्रेट्स आर ग्रेन्स फ्रूट्स व्हेजिटेबल्स लेग्युम्स अँड sugar. Simple carbohydrates are quick energy sources. They come from sugar. They do not usually supply any other nutrients or fibers. Simple sugar कुठले आहेत बघू The glucose or blood sugar is the basic source of energy for all living things. Sucrose or table sugar is made up from sugar beets or sugar cane. Fructose is a sugar found in fruit, honey, and vegetables. Maltose is a grain starch broken down into sugar. Lactose is milk sugar. That's why the milk is taste in sweet because of lactose. Such kind of question may be asked in MCQs, that is which kind of sugar present in milk, then answer is lactose. Which kind of sugar is present in fruit, that is fructose. Okay, then we'll see the complex carbohydrates. Complex carbohydrates supply longer lasting energy as well as other nutrients and fiber that the body needs. They are a better choice. Complex carbohydrates comes from starchy food such as whole grains, flour seeds, nuts, vegetables and fruits. Recommendations: eat less foods with added sugar. Choose fiber rich fruits, vegetables and whole grains more often. Eat beans several times a week. Brush teeth after eating foods with sugar and starch. What is the history of carbohydrates? Formerly, carbohydrates were defined as a group of compound composed of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. The later two elements are in the same proportions as in water and were expressed by the formula Cn in bracket H2O taken n times. Okay, the carbohydrates formula काय आहे? Cn in bracket H2O n times. The word carbohydrates can be tracked by two Germans who called them Carbohydrates. It was then termed carbohydrates in English. बऱ्याचदा कोरियामध्ये सीच्या ऐवजी कार्बनच्या ऐवजी के वापरलं जातं. तुम्ही बघितलं असेल, तो एक मोबाईल पण होता, त्याचं कार्बन नाव होतं पण स्पेलिंग के पासून सुरू व्हायची. कोरिया वगैरे किंवा जर्मन वगैरे लोक सीच्या ऐवजी बऱ्याचदा के वापरतात. ओके, carbohydrates, then it is turned to the carbohydrates. The definition is not valid as it was misleading few compounds like acetic acid C2H4O2, lactic acid C3H6O3, which are not carbohydrates. ओके, म्हणजे फक्त फॉर्म्युल्यावरूनच कार्बोहायड्रेट्स CnH2O टेकन n टाइम्स म्हणजेच कार्बोहायड्रेटचा फॉर्म्युला होत नाही, कारण त्याला ॲसिटिक ॲसिडचा आणि लॅक्टिक ॲसिडचा अपवाद आहे. ओके, द accommodated a wide variety of compounds, the carbohydrates are nowadays broadly defined as polyhydroxyaldehydes or ketones. Simple definition of carbohydrates, very simple. According to latest information, broad information, carbohydrates broadly defined as polyhydroxyaldehydes or ketones. Carbohydrates are much abundant in plants rather than in animals. Occurrence of carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are widely distributed in plants and animal and also found in green plants by the process of photosynthesis. The process occurs with the presence of chlorophyll pigment, that is C62 plus 6H2O will gives chlorophyll. In presence of sunlight it produces glucose C6H12O6 plus liberation of oxygen gas. See, the photosynthesis is very important and vital process for living organism. It consumes atmospheric carbon dioxide and water. In presence of sunlight at the site of chlorophyll pigment, they produces glucose and liberate oxygen. These carbohydrates utilized by the animals in the form of food. Well-known carbohydrates are glucose C6H12O6, sugar 612H22O11, starch and cellulose, used by human beings and animals. Animals can synthesize carbohydrates from fats and proteins. So this is little bit about carbohydrates. It was the introductory lecture about carbohydrates. We should remember the source of carbohydrates, definition of carbohydrates, and history of the carbohydrates. Okay, thank you so much.